All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us on a Monday. By the way, coming up here at the bottom of the hour, nationally syndicated talk show host, sports talk show host, I should say, Bernie Fratto will be joining us. Why? Well, he covers UNLV, and some people think the UNLV football coach, Tony Sanchez, might not make it through the season. He might lose his job. So we'll talk to Bernie about that coming up a little later on in the program. But, of course, we want to stick to what is going on in the world of celebrity entertainment and, of course, Donald Trump. And what better person to have with us on the line right now than Mr.X, as we like to call him, the Hollywood conservative, longtime producer out there in L.A., who happens to be a Donald Trump supporter. Mr.X, thank you so much for being here. How are you?
I'm good, man. I love, when these idiot celebrities speak out and I just add them to my own private blacklist in my mind. It doesn't make much difference because they don't know who I am in most situations anyway, but it's just, anyway, I'm sure I know what you guys want to talk about, but especially this Mark Hamill thing just really rubs me the wrong way.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's start with Mark Hamill. Obviously, I want to get your opinions on this whole Ukraine situation and possible impeachment, but before we get to that, so Mark Hamill slammed on social media for this fraud comment he makes in regards to Ivanka Trump's Instagram picture. Describe this a little bit. And when you first heard it, what was your response? What do you think of this?
My response is that this is indicative of the left. This is the entire problem with all these idiot Democrat liberal jackasses in this country. I'm serious. This is supposed to be the compassionate, bleeding heart left. They're animals. This is so indicative of how things were during the elections, where it was I don't really think Hillary's the best choice for president. You are a racist pig. You should die.
Well, that's ridiculous.
If I was driving, you should be run over with my car.
Well, that's ridiculous.
No, but man, it is. But it's also what they're like. And just look at Mark Hamill. Really, you're gonna hate on this little kid for wearing a stormtrooper costume? Are you kidding me? Because you don't like Trump, that gives you the right to insult this woman and her kid. I'm just trying to look at it from the other perspective. Mm-hmm. And if some conservative actor, there are a few of them that exist. I won't give any names for their safety. But if some conservative actor, made fun of Michelle Obama and one of his kids and was like, oh, you shouldn't be dressed up like, Captain Marvel because you're not marvelous or something. It would be a feeding frenzy. I mean, they would lose their minds and they would be racist and sexist and Me Too'd and everything. It's just such hypocritical nonsense. It drives me crazy.
I can tell it does.
These liberals, these Hollywood liberals just really live in their own, sheltered universe and have no concept of this country.
All right, well, let's continue to touch on that, but I do want to play something, and it has to do with Robert De Niro, who is not a big
I heard it.
Not a big Trump supporter, by the way. So this is Robert De Niro. Again, he's speaking CNN with Brian Stelter, who is also not a big Donald Trump supporter. So this is Robert De Niro in his own words on CNN. We're going to play this, and then I want to get your reaction. Here's Robert De Niro.
I wonder, as an actor, do you ever look at the president and think he's performing, like he's playing an act or something?
In some ways, I think he is, but I think that it's, as I think some of these other pundits on Fox are too, because I can't believe that they would actually buy into this craziness. This guy should not be president, period.
And when you say that, folks on Fox come after you. I remember the Tonys when he got up there and cursed. A lot of criticism of you.
Fuck him.
Okay, well, this is cable, so it's not an FCC violation, but it is still a Sunday morning.
Well,
I do wonder why you choose to go that way.
Let me say something.
Why do you choose to go that way?
We are at a moment in our life, in this country, where this guy is like a gangster. He's come along and he's said things, done things we say over and over again. This is terrible. We're in a terrible situation. We're in a terrible situation. And this guy just keeps going on and on and on without being stopped.
I do find it funny, Brian Stelter. Why do you choose to go that route? Tell me, why do you choose to go that route? This guy with this high-pitched voice, and then you have Robert De Niro. I think of Robert De Niro as like a gangster. I think of Casino and what a talented actor. And then he's like, F him, and it's just weird. What do you make of that whole exchange?
Let me tell you something from an insider perspective in Hollywood. Robert De Niro is one of the worst people in Hollywood.
Really?
I'm not. Oh my God, I'm not kidding you.
Why do you say that?
Oh, he's a monster. He treats people like crap. He's a jerk to everyone on set. All other actors can't stand him. I mean, he really is. He is one of the bad guys in this industry. And that's not to say that all of the Hollywood liberals are, because they all hate Trump, but De Niro in particular is a monster.
Well, I can say I interviewed him, and I kind of conned him into doing an interview, or I guess his people, because, as you know, he's partial owner of Nobu, right? And there's a new Nobu restaurant. This was years ago, maybe 8 or 9 years ago, that opened up on, I believe it was on the Strip. So his handlers are like, don't really ask him a lot about movies. He wants to talk about Nobu, the business. So I said, yeah. What am I going to do, a 25-minute interview and ask him about sushi? No. So I get him on the show. I ask him 1 or 2 questions about Nobu. He gives me long answers. Of course I want to ask him about his career. I asked him about the filming of Casino. I asked him about, possibly moving some of these studios to Las Vegas. The guy didn't give me more than a 5-second answer to anything. He was a horrible interview. I was really disappointed with that.
He's a horrible person. He's a horrible, that's the thing. Like, if you are a parent or a teenager or whatever, if I can offer one piece of advice, do not listen to these Hollywood idiots about anything other than acting. If Robert De Niro wants to go on a master class with James Horn or whatever the hell that guy's name is and wants to do that, cool. The guy's a phenomenal actor.
All right. No, I get it.
I'd love to listen to him talk about acting. But when it comes to politics, what is he even talking about?
All right, well, hold on. Let's discuss that, because even though I can understand where you're coming from, where De Niro might not treat people well in Hollywood, and I believe you. With that said, I think he's right on this issue. Let's get to the brunt of the issue. The transcript came out. Okay, we know what the president said, the Ukrainian president, Mr.X. I know you're a smart guy. You know that this is inappropriate at the very least. He's going after Joe Biden. By the way, Biden and his son were already investigated. It showed no legal wrongdoing, but Biden talking to a president, withholding aid 2 days before, asking for a quote-unquote favor. Come on. Now, I know you're a logical guy. You're a smart guy. You have to know that this is beyond inappropriate, and it could be. It could be an impeachable offense.
All right, let me put it this way. I disagree. I think that it's not an impeachable offense. I think it's not even in the top 10 worst things that presidents have done and not been impeached for. And I also think that, look, one thing I think that liberals are not considering is what happens if Trump gets impeached. Pence comes in and is the president, right?
Yeah.
Is that something you guys really want? I don't.
I can't speak for liberals, and I haven't even thought that far ahead. I'm not a Trump supporter, as you know. I'm not a liberal, but I will say this: as much as I dislike Mike Pence, and I think he's disgraceful with some of his views and opinions, particularly on homosexuality, I would rather I can look at you with a straight face and say I think the country is better off with Mike Pence as president of the United States rather than Donald Trump. I can say that to you right now. It might not be better. It might not be better for my show. But for the country, yes.
But it's not. I think it's not. It's just not true, though, because what is, other than his Twitter, what has Trump done as president that is so much worse than previous presidents?
Well, let's just focus on this. Let's just focus on this. He's talking to the president of the Ukraine, asking for a favor, getting dirt on a political opponent. You don't find that to be a serious offense? I'm shocked.
No, I don't, because every single one of these politicians, Hillary being the most concerning, these guys are digging up muck from anywhere they can.
But Hillary's not the president, though. Why are we talking about Hillary?
It doesn't matter, because, forget, so any of the people running for president, these guys are looking for dirt on the other candidates.
Give me an example of Barack Obama. Well, give me the example then of Barack Obama, and I'm not an Obama apologist, but give me an example of him on the phone or in person with a president of another country asking for dirt on a political opponent. I'm all yours.
No, I can't, because it's not documented.
Because it didn't happen. There's no proof that it happened.
I think that's naive.
That's hearsay. Man. Well, that's hearsay. We don't have proof that he did
it. Right, that's true. But the point is that, this. Where do you think that these guys get information about other candidates? Where do you think any scandal that ever comes out comes from?
But then your position is, if it's happening in the past, allegedly, let it continue to happen. We have absolute 100% proof.
No, it's not that. It's just that it's not going to stop. Like the
If
fact
Trump
that he
gets
got
impeached,
caught doing this,
I disagree. I think if Trump gets impeached for this, I think politicians, whether it's the president or anybody, they're going to think twice before they do something like this. I disagree.
I think that is a very sadly naive view, man. And not saying you are naive. I know you're very smart. I'm just saying that if you think that politicians, if Trump gets impeached, that suddenly politicians are going to go, oh, we better not try to dig up any dirt on our rivals from any source. Like, come on, man.
All right. Well, regardless,
this stuff happens
okay.
constantly.
Well, regardless of that, we know what he said. We know what he did. You know what he did. You don't think there should be any repercussions for this? Is that what you're saying?
No. And
Really?
here's the reason. No. And you know what? You want to know why? Here's
Why?
the answer. Because I don't care. I don't care about a politician trying to get dirt on one of his rivals. It happens all the time. What I care about is what type of president he is and what his statistics are. And I've always told you this on this show, is I care about the actual measurable statistics of a president. That's what I care about. And I don't, that's why I've told you 100 times, is Trump an idiot? 100%. Does he say dumb things all the time? 100%.
Well, let me ask you this then. I understand.
His answer is no.
I understand.
But the economy, the jobs, I think that he has done enough during his presidency that if you set aside all of the other nonsense that really is like tabloid fodder, that he has been an average to above average president and no worse than Obama or Bush or Clinton or Reagan or any of these clowns.
Well, here's my opinion on that. First of all, I disagree with you. I don't think this is tabloid fodder. I think when we have the president of the United States asking for dirt on a political opponent and possibly holding aid for that reason, our tax dollars, by the way, I think it sets a horrendous precedence, regardless of whether you believe so many people have done it in the past. It needs to stop, and we have proof that the president did it. I don't think this is tabloid fodder.
To stop. No, fine. I was trying to make a point, which is that this is something that politics is rife with this. This is what politics is. It's why I don't like watching debates. It's why I can't stand what politics in this country has become, which is laser focused on some negative portion. And really, what happened here? Let me break this down simply. This is, you've got your radio show, you've got some rival radio show there, and you don't like them and they don't like you, and you call his ex-wife and you go, has this guy done anything really crappy? Like, what has he done? To me, that's not out of bounds.
Okay, but here's the difference. Because again, I respectfully disagree with you. A radio host cannot be compared to the president of the United States. I'm not in control of billions of dollars of your taxpayer money. Okay, this is putting our interest at risk.
Spend taxpayer money to make a phone call.
Would you rather
taxpayer money?
Wouldn't you rather have a president that puts America first before himself?
I think Trump has demonstrated that he puts America first before himself.
You think in that phone call he put America first before himself? Do you believe that?
No, but I also think that in 95% of his endeavors, he's thinking with what he views to be the country's best interest in mind. I'm not saying it always is.
And if that's true, I'm not going to argue that. If that's true,
also too, here's the thing. Maybe let me counter that. Maybe Trump thinks that Biden is such an idiot and would be such a bad president, and that the American public are so duped by this guy that he wants to get some dirt on them because he thinks that America would die if Biden was president. In that situation, he is doing what he thinks is best for America.
That's where we disagree, because I think he's thinking of himself and his family.
Maybe.
I think his ego.
Maybe you're right, man.
I think ego. I think it's his ego. I think he wants to be president. He wants to win, and I think it's more important for Donald Trump to win than to actually get the country going in the right direction. That's my personal opinion on him.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask two questions. Number one, whoever ends up running against Trump, whether it's Warren or Biden or whoever, let's say, let me ask you first, do you think that they are going to try to go through many different sources to try to get dirt on Trump?
If those many sources would include foreign entities, I would say no.
I think that's insane. I think that if a foreign entity reached out to one of them and said, hey, let's say the king or president or whatever the hell China has was like, hey, just FYI, Trump was here a couple months ago, and
I don't think they would. No, I don't think they would.
Dude, you are out of your ever-loving mind.
No, I don't think.
These guys
Here's why.
want to be president just as bad
Of course
as
they
Trump
do.
does.
Of course they do. But it doesn't mean they would go to the lengths that Don
Yes,
Jr.
they
did in
would.
that meeting.
Yeah,
No, I
that
disagree.
is so ridiculous.
Well,
Of course they would, man.
listen. If it happens, then I am vehemently
No,
against
they're
it.
just not going to get caught. They're going to be more careful. And Trump was the one who got caught for it. I mean, this is politics, man. Like, this is what these guys
Listen,
do.
I don't like speculating. If you're caught, you're caught. If you're not, you're not. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, Joe Biden's done this before. Elizabeth Warren's done this before.
It's because, and again, you being an intelligent and rational person don't like Trump and that lean a little bit more toward the other side.
I don't like Elizabeth. I don't like Elizabeth Warren either, and I've already said on the show a gazillion times I would not vote for Joe Biden, and I don't think Joe Biden could defeat Donald Trump.
But would you vote for Trump over Joe Biden?
Possibly. I haven't made that determination. Possibly, and for a selfish reason, not because I think he's great for the country, but I think he's great for our radio show. I've said that on the air before.
True.
I've said that. Yeah. I'm being completely honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Joe.
I appreciate that. That's a pragmatic, approach to.
Joe Biden's probably not going to help me. Donald Trump helps my radio show. So, I could, but I can tell you if he ran against somebody that I like a Pete Buttigieg, for example, I would vote for Pete Buttigieg. But let's move on, Mr. X, to something that's a little more fun, and that is Saturday Night Live, okay? As you know, Alec Baldwin, Kate McKinnon, they've impersonated President Donald Trump and Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, on SNL. I want to play this clip, and then I want to get your thoughts on it. Here it is, right here.
Yeah.
Get me Rudy Giuliani on the phone.
Oh, hey, Mr. Trump. What's new?
What do you mean, what's new, Rudy? I'm being impeached. It's the greatest presidential harassment of all time, I would know. I'm like the president of harassment.
You gotta relax, Mr. Trump. We got nothing to worry about. Nobody's gonna find out about our illegal side dealings with the Ukraine.
Good.
Or how we tried to cover up those side dealings.
Great.
Or how we plan to cover up the cover-up.
Rudy, where are you right now?
I'm on CNN right now.
I just think that's kind of funny. All right, what do you think about that?
I think it's hilarious. I don't care when these guys make fun of Trump and these other, first of all, Trump is one of the most make fun ofable characters we've ever had in politics. So
we agree there.
He's an idiot if he doesn't think that it's going to be happening constantly. And all of them are. They were doing impressions of Obama too on Saturday Night Live, and they were a little bit more respectful and less sort of, biting. But who cares? I mean, you got to be. That's something I have no issue with. Other than obviously I draw the line. Threats against Republicans.
I would also interject though and say that I do believe Obama was a more respectful person as well. Maybe that's why he got a little more respect.
Yeah, that's the thing. And Trump's an idiot when Saturday Night Live makes fun of him. He goes, the show should be canceled. Like, come on, Trump, what's wrong with you? That is the worst response you can have.
Right.
Like that. Just let them do their thing.
Well, I'll tell you, man, I'm glad that we agree on that. I think laughing is laughing no matter who you're being made fun of, and I think Trump.
Just so I'm clear, listen, man, that was wrong what he did. He should not you and I agree. It's something that should not be happening. Period. And he shouldn't be using his obviously high-level access to foreign dignitaries to do it. Nobody should be doing it. Period. And I'm not defending what he did. My point was that this is something that's rampant, and you asked me if I think it's an impeachable offense, and I think it's not.
Well, Mr. X, I always appreciate it getting your perspective, and I know this story is certainly not going away, so I'm sure we will catch up with you again next week, and who knows what revelations will come to fruition. But Mr. Hollywood Conservative, Mr. X, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We appreciate it.
Thank you, man. All right. There
you go. It is Mr. X, Hollywood Conservative. Sound like he was he using the restroom live on the air? Was he using toilet paper? What was going on there? Was he plunging the toilet? I don't know what that was. I don't know what that noise was. What the hell was that? Our producer Stein is in studio. Stein, what was going on there?
I have no answers, but to me it sounded like he was taking out the trash.
Is that what he was doing?
Maybe picking up his children's toys, or he was doing something around the house. I didn't get the toilet thing. But
my perception was I convinced him to throw away his Donald Trump apparel, like he's got a Donald Trump poster, and I think he was crinkling it up and throwing it away. I think that's what he was doing.
You convinced him?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I did. Should we squeeze in a quick phone call? Why don't we squeeze in a quick call? Why don't we go
We
to...
love calls.
Yes, of course. Let's go to Philip. No? Okay, Philip has left the building. Apparently, they don't love us. We love them, but they don't love us. All right, well, here's what we're going to do. Remember I told you guys how much I love you guys. I love our listeners. Well, guess what? I have another prize to give away. I just gave away a $100 dining certificate to Oscar Steakhouse and a one-night stay there at the Plaza. Well, I have a pair of single-day tickets to the Age of Chivalry Renaissance Festival. This is going to be at Sunset Park, and it's Saturday, October 12th. The doors open at 10 a.m. The event runs Friday, October 11th through Sunday, October 13th. Fifth caller right now. Give us a buzz. 257-5396. Again, that number to call if you want to win this prize. Fifth caller at 257-5396 is going to win instantly a pair of tickets to the Age of Chivalry Renaissance Festival at Sunset Park. Again, this is Saturday, October 12th. Fifth caller right now. 257-5396. Again, that number to call again, 702-257-5396. And you are going to score yourself a pair of tickets. By the way, that prize I gave away, one night at the Plaza and a $100 dining credit to Oscar Steakhouse, I'll be giving that prize again tomorrow away. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Fox Sports nationally syndicated host Bernie Fratto, talk a little UNLV hoops. Well, that too. Maybe we could talk hoops too. But we'll be talking a little UNLV football. Is Tony Sanchez on the hot seat? Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take.